Cluck cluck, my little night owls and broodlings. Welcome back to Hen House Files, the creepiest co-op on YouTube, where your nightmares hatch and grow wings. Before we settle into tonight's tale, don't forget to check out the Haunted Hatchery, our nest of eerie gear and exclusive designs inspired by this September series. But tonight is different. This isn't the story of a phantom who waits in the woods or a cursed object you can simply bury. No, this spirit seeps into the most intimate space of all, the fragile bond between mother and child. She has been with us since the first lullabies were sung by firelight, since the first cradles were carved from wood. She does not simply haunt, she feeds. This is spirit number 12, the Withered Mother. She has worn many names, and she has haunted many places. In Mexico, she is whispered about as La Llorona, the weeping woman who drowned her children and now wanders riversides, taking others to replace them. In Japan, she is the Ubium, a spirit of a mother who died in childbirth, who presses phantom babies into the arms of strangers. In Ireland, farmers once feared the Cailleach na di tri en egg-stra, an old crone who soured breast milk and left infants to weaken. And in Eastern Europe, she was called Mara, slipping into bedrooms at night to sit on mothers' chests, whispering that they were unfit, that their children deserved better. The stories vary, but the shape remains the same. A woman, impossibly thin, skin gray and stretched tight across her bones, clutching a child that is either invisible or long dead. She hums lullabies backward, the melody familiar but inverted, warped into something alien. And always, she smells a spoiled milk. In the 1600s, an Irish midwife wrote in her journal of being called to a farmhouse where a new mother refused to breastfeed her child. The babe screams all night, she wrote, and when the milk comes, it sours in the breast. The mother says an old woman rocks in the corner, watching her with black eyes, singing of a cradle in the grave. The child died within a week. In Japan, Edo period travelers told of encountering women on dark roads, pressing infants into their arms. The babies grew heavier and heavier until the travelers collapsed, crushed beneath the weight. In some stories, the infants dissolved into puddles of blood. In others, the travelers awoke to find their own children gone, replaced with husks of gray skin. And in rural Mexico, women swore that if you heard sobbing near the river after midnight, you must keep your children inside, for La Llorona would trade her drowned offspring for yours. Different places, different names, but the same hunger. If the withered mother belonged only to folklore, she would be easier to dismiss. But in hospitals and homes across the world, her shadow still stretches. Parents describe baby monitors that pick up strange songs, low, crooning voices speaking backward or in tongues they don't understand. The babies wake screaming, often staring not at the camera, but just beyond it, into the shadows. In one Chicago home, parents replaced 3 different monitors after they all began to record at the same time. 3:17 a.m. Every night, the footage glitched into static, and through that static, a figure sometimes emerged, a long, thin woman sitting beside the crib, stroking the rails with skeletal fingers. NICU nurses whisper about her too. In New York, a nurse swore she saw a figure in scrubs leaning over an incubator. When she approached, the woman turned, skin gray, eyes hollow pits, and the monitor flatlined. The baby was gone before the doctors could explain why. The nurse quit the profession. She thrives most among exhausted mothers suffering postpartum depression, women who already fear they are failing. Survivors say she whispers at night, "You are not enough. Your baby deserves better. Let me help." And sometimes the mothers listen. One mother in Ohio reported that her son began to scream at exactly 3:12 every night. The parents checked the monitor and saw a figure in the corner, too tall, too gaunt, bent over as though cradling something. They rushed in, but the nursery was empty. And yet, the baby's blanket was always damp, reeking of sour milk. They moved the crib into their room. That very night, the mother awoke to see the gray woman curled at the foot of the bed, humming. She clutched the baby close, but the figure hissed and melted into the dark. To this day, the child hums lullabies backward in her sleep. In London, a mother recovering from childbirth kept hearing a rocking chair creak in the nursery. When she checked, the chair would be moving, though no one had touched it. One night, she opened the door and saw the withered mother rocking with her baby in her arms, crooning in a rasping voice. The baby was silent, staring blankly at the ceiling. When the woman lunged, the spirit disappeared, but the baby never cried again. Doctors found no cause. And in Montreal, a diary was found in the home of a young mother who died by suicide. She wrote of nightly whispers telling her she was unfit, that her child deserved better. She dreamt of handing her baby to a woman with gray skin and black eyes. When I wake, she wrote, I feel my arms empty, and I hear a lullaby still echoing in the room. Her baby survived, but would never feed again, wasting away despite all efforts. People have tried everything. Priests bless nurseries, hanging crucifixes above cribs. The lullabies still come. Families scatter salt, leave scissors open by windows, light candles through the night. Still, mothers wake to find the rocking chair swaying. Hospitals change their cameras, replace their equipment. The monitors glitch again at 3:12 a.m. And some, in desperation, move houses, even across states. The withered mother follows. There is no safe distance once she has chosen. And perhaps the most terrifying part is what becomes of the children. In hushed accounts, survivors describe glimpses of infants in her arms, faces gray and twisted, eyes black pits like hers. These children never cry, never laugh. Some believe she is building a brood, a flock of stolen souls bound to her forever. In certain legends, if you stare long enough into the corner of the room, just where the shadows deepen, you can see them. Tiny figures, dozens of them, all silent, all swaying, as though rocked in invisible cradles. So, broodlings, the next time you hear a lullaby through a baby monitor or catch the sour scent of spoiled milk where it shouldn't be, remember this. Not all mothers nurture. Some only take. That was spirit number 12, the withered mother. And now, we come to the end. One last door in the coop. Spirit number 13, the final story of September. This one doesn't just whisper in your ear, or stalk your reflection, or rock your child to sleep. This one waits for all of us. Stay perched, stay spooky, and beware. Because spirit number 13 wants everything. Cluck you later, my little night owls.